him and
So I just bounced.
yeah, I mean, he comes from the deal, and you know, and him and L.A. Reid, are partners, and they went and they pretty much blueprinted a whole generation of artists. You know, and yeah, so like they were able to kind of put that on a new platform for this social media, for today's time that isn't aware of say the history, and even some like Teddy Riley's history. Say producing like Dougie Fresh, and say Remember the Time, and
by Mike Jackson.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, our guest Nadia, she worked with the Jackson family.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, man.
Oh, wow.
Let's get her on. Where's she at?
Okay.
I think she was already there, right?
She's here. Okay.
Okay, cool.
All right.
Let's see if she's patching in.
She should be patching in.
Well, hello.
Hello, how you doing?
Hey, Nadia.
I'm good. How are you guys doing? What's up?
Doing all right. Trying to keep a 6 foot
social
distance.
distance.
So hard.
Social
right now,
distancing. I think this is good enough right now. It's working,
Yeah.
The
Good to see you.
social...
Thanks for coming in.
Thank you for the invitation. I'm glad to be here.
So for everybody out there, we have the talented, intelligent, creative, funny, beautiful. Should I
Thank
keep going?
I mean, I'm flattered. I could keep on listening to this all day.
Nadia Quesada's in the house. Welcome.
What? What's up?
Yeah. So before we get into talking about a lot of your creative side and your history, let's give the people a little bit of background on where you come from. You're from, by way of Florida, you're living in LA now, right?
Well, actually, I was born in Brownsville, Texas, on the border, which is like completely opposite from Tijuana. And so my family is originally from Monterrey, Mexico, which is maybe like the third largest city in Mexico. And I grew up out there. I started modeling out there. I started doing commercials and stuff like that. So that's kind of like how I started getting some experience. And then I moved to Chicago after that. And in Chicago, again, I started, working in the industry, what was out there. And I had an online show and stuff. Then after that, I bounced to Mexico City. I was everywhere. I went to Mexico City, and I was there in a show as well in Televisa. And then I moved to Miami, and then I came over here. Yeah. So I just bounced around all over.
So you're used to like traveling and being around and kind of like making new beginnings, right?
Yeah, well, for me, it was like trying to figure out like where I wanted to live and where I can live that balanced life, like being a talent, working, and also making money and be able to live a comfortable life. So for me, it was trying to find that balance. But after a while, I realized that LA is a place to be. Like, this is a mecca of film, so this is definitely where I've been wanting to be from the beginning. And it just took a lot of decision making to actually come out here, and I finally did it. And now I'm doing this full time. Where before I was doing other jobs while acting and modeling and stuff like that. So like now I finally decided to do it full time and really like plunge into it and see where it takes me. Because you got to pursue your dreams. If you don't do it, you'll never know what would happen.
It seems like you're doing fine. And you've been in LA for how many years now?
Well, actually, I think I've been here for maybe 2 years.
Okay.
Maybe 2 years.
So you're kind of adjusted. Would you say you're adjusted?
I'm finally feeling like I adjusted. The first year was kind of crazy because I didn't really know many people out here. Like, I just kind of like decided to come and that's it. Like, no like real preparation, like strategically like that,
Yeah.
but the first year I was also kind of like traveling. I went like to Chicago. I did some modeling in Atlanta and Mexico City. So like the first year I wasn't really kind of like paying attention, which I mean, now I realize that you got to be like 100% focused, you know? And last year, that's when I was like, okay, I can't be like bouncing around, you know, like working here and working there. Like if I want to make it somewhere, I need to like build the business and build myself here as a business, because in the end, that's what we are. We're a product.
Right. And I was just telling Gargamel that you got a chance to work with the Jackson family last year, right?
Yeah, I had no clue. I actually don't even have a manager yet, and I don't even have an agent. I'm still like, I'm like, I want to do things like, step by step, when I'm ready.
Right.
And so I was submitting on LA castings, which in the rest of the United States they call casting networks. Right. And so they don't put like what artists and all that, and when I applied, and then the day I was finally there, I was like, that guy looks familiar. I was like, wait a minute, is that the guy? Like, is he the guy from like the Jackson family? He was like, you didn't know? I was like, oh my God, I feel like such a dumbass, like, because I just walked in and like got my stuff, like, without even, most people are like, oh my God, like, so I was just like straight to hair and makeup, and I wasn't even like, all surprised or shocked or anything. But
who from the Jacksons were you working with?
Tito Jackson.
Tito?
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, it was a song called One Way Street.
One Way Street? Okay.
Mm-hmm. Video's been out for a while now, right?
Yeah, it's been a couple of months already. Yeah, it's been out for a while. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Cool. So we're having a conversation right now about the Babyface and Teddy Riley battle, and how Michael Jackson was a big conversation in that battle. Actually, Saturday, were you able to catch that battle?
I did not, actually. What was it about?
They're two like pretty much iconic
R&B artists.
Yeah.
Well, you could say just producers.
Babyface sounds like really familiar, but I don't know.
Okay.
I'm not like really like into the whole scene, like
okay.
I'm
sort of
clueless at some point.
Okay, so Swiss Beats and Timberland, they're putting, since we have this social distancing quarantine thing right now, they're just pretty much like what we're doing right now. They're pretty much doing this versus thing. So last week they had DJ Premier and the RZA do a battle, and this week they had Teddy Riley, who is pretty much responsible for his own genre of music, which is New Jack Swing, which is Guy, Heavy D, et cetera, and Babyface, who, which is pretty much responsible for a full era of music as well. R&B.
Mainly 90s, all 90s.
I mean, 80s.
80s even.
No, 80s, 90s. I mean, LaFace, L.A. Reid, that was his partner, etc. So that was big. I mean, they're making memes about it and everything right now. So,
I have to tune in. I have to look to see what all the
is. Just to give you the reason that I'm saying this, because
the Jacksons.
The Jacksons. Teddy was responsible for the Dangerous album.
Okay. So he was involved.
He produced the whole album.
He produced it.
Yeah.
So he's pretty like up there.
Oh, both of those guys, they're legends.
Top notch.
Yeah. So that's the that's why we're talking about you.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, it's just funny how life works out like that. Like sometimes you'll run into people that you never expect. Like I met not too long, the same kind of time I met Joaquin Phoenix on this set, where he had just gotten recently nominated for Oscars and the Academy Awards and stuff like that. And again, I self-submitted, and they were looking for a stand-in, and I did stand-in for Una Chaplin. They were doing this little like a commercial in like for a cause, you know, like to help make awareness about climate. You know how Joaquin Phoenix is like an advocate for environmental friendly and, you know, like for save the animals and stuff like that. And so I was like, oh my God, that's Joaquin Phoenix. So I mean, that's the fun part about being here in LA, that you never know who you're gonna work with and who you're gonna run into.
Yeah. How was it meeting him? Was it cool?
He was really cool. Like, I was really surprised. He was so down to earth. He talked to all of us. And they actually brought in a catering truck from Beyond Burger. I don't know if you've ever tried.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because he's vegan. And so I'm actually a vegetarian. I'm borderline vegan. So that was cool for me, because a lot of sets, it's kind of hard to find good options like for vegetarians, unless if you're like, you know, a well-known actor that they cater to you, like, you know. Personally, but it was cool that he had that. And the cool thing about him too, maybe fun fact, was that when in his break he went to go get a bunch of burgers, and then he went outside to the streets where there was like a bunch of homeless, and he went to go give like some food to the homeless.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, so I was like, you know, this is like, you know, this is what you know, like what I love to see, and people like him, those are like real actors, like real talent, and real people, like, and there's a reason why they're successful.
Yeah, because they can portray real people, right?
Yeah.
Not even that. The more you give, the more you get.
Exactly. You know, it's not about like taking and being all standoffish and like I'm this and I'm that. You know, it's also about giving back, and when you give, you'll receive as well.
Right. Was that before the Joker came out or after?
That was right after. Like, he had just gotten nominated. So then after was like the awards.
Nice.
Yeah, so it was like at his peak, basically. So I was like, that's cool, you know, like I got to like be, I was like, ah.
Exciting.
Yeah, it was super exciting.
Speaking of all the jobs and works that you were doing leading up to this moment and everything being shut down, and being a creative person, and I follow you on Instagram, so I see that you do a lot of
Thanks
editing.
for following me.
Of course. And we not everybody doesn't know, but me and Nadia met on set for a video for Gerardo Ortiz, which is a big corridos artist, and it was funny because me and you laughed that we didn't really know who he was.
Dude, he was so hilarious though. Yeah. Like, I have no clue who, like, sometimes because I'm on the constant like working and on the hustle, you know, so like sometimes you don't even know who's like famous, and they're like right there, you know. So he was super cool. Like, I remember everybody there on set was like so funny. We were having like a good time.
So that was last year, and since then I've been following you. I see that you sketch, you're an artist, you box, you're a martial artist. I mean, you're very creative. So how does it feel right now, or what is the things that you're doing to keep like focused?
Well, I mean, I'm actually kind of glad. A lot of people are like worried and stressed about like the situation, and for me it was like a kind of a break, and I was finally able to breathe a little bit and maybe concentrate on myself, because, you know, like LA, we all know it's an expensive city, and well, you gotta hustle, you know, like to pay your bills, and also like to hustle like what you're here for, you know. So sometimes there's a lot of things that you have to postpone in order to get all those tasks done. And so for me, like, it had been a while that I didn't sketch, you know, because it's always like work, you know. And I started sketching not too long ago, when sometimes I'll do like detox, and I did like a social detox where I just deleted my apps from my phone, like not my account, but my phone. And then I took a break, and I was like, okay, what am I going to do with my time? I was like, oh yeah, I have a sketch pad. Let me, like, you know, start draw again, you know, like it had been a while. So I like sketching, and like I like to do things like that, you know. So this is the perfect time to get creative, how you said, either by sketching or by creating your own content, or by even like practicing like lines, or, you know, all those stuff that makes your craft better. So I think this is the perfect time to get some of that stuff done that you've been postponing because you have to work.
Yep.
I got a question for you. You being in LA, and you having resided in a couple of cities, which city would you reside in regards to the quarantine?
And the I mean, honestly, I was actually thinking about leaving LA because I mean, it makes sense. It's like highly populated and it's so dense, you know, and people. So it makes sense that this was going to be like one of the affected areas. And well, my family's still back in the border in Texas, so I did consider going maybe even to Mexico, but I was like, I don't know. Like, I think I'm just gonna tough it out, you know. Like, I can't be running home every time that like
Exactly.
something gets tough or whatever. I'm
Exactly.
an adult woman. I made the decision to come here, so I have to, you know, like
Yeah.
suck it up
It's the major
and
league out here.
stick with the plan. Like, man, I don't know
Exactly.
how it like I'm surviving, but I'm surviving.
Yeah, he's like you
Good
said,
luck.
it's the major league. We were talking about that last week. It's like
Yeah, this is for like los de veras, como dicen
Yeah.
en
los
español. Like
calaveras.
here, yeah, los de
Right.
veras. This is like it's not for children. It's
Yeah.
not
Not
child's
for the
play.
faint of heart.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. It's
Yeah,
like here you'll know what you're made of.
Exactly.
That's good. Yeah, that's a good way to look at it, and it's good to see you doing so well.
Thank
And
you.
I know from meeting you from so long ago, and then we're still connected, and you're still here. I mean, you came in today to talk to us, which is awesome.
Well, I appreciate you having me here, and it's good to connect, you know, with people in general.
I got a couple of questions still for you.
Yeah,
Right,
yeah.
right.
Ask away, ask away.
Because it sounds like you're still like fresh to the town.
Mm-hmm.
What do you want to do out here?
Well, acting is my passion, and that's what I'm here for. And well, I love martial arts, so for me, I would like to do something like in the action scene, or even like how like the roles with in the music video, like narco, like all that stuff. You know, we us Mexicans, we love that shit.
Dangerous,
Yeah,
shit,
like crime,
mafiosa.
drama, like all that stuff is like passionate about it. So that's kind of like a goal of mine, like to get into one of these films.
I saw an indie film you made that was action, where you like had a gun. There was a scene with a gun.
Yeah. It
Fight
was a short
scene.
film.
Short
It's,
film.
yeah,
Where
it
is
was a
that?
little.
Is that somewhere anybody could see it or anything like that? Or is it
Yeah,
just...
I have it on my YouTube. If you guys are welcome to subscribe on my YouTube. It's Nadia Quesada, Nadia Quesada, Quezada. And I have all my stuff right there. I have like playlists of work that I've done. And so if anybody wants to follow me.
All right.
I have another question. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a I don't know if it's not necessarily a political question or whatnot, but you being, say, a Latina out in Hollywood, do you feel that it's tougher for you in the industry trying to make it?
Well, that was maybe one of the reasons that I thought about it a little bit before. I was like, well, I'm not sure if the Latinos have that equal opportunity out here. But ever since a few years ago, I've been noticing that they've been giving pretty much good, decent amount of opportunities for the Latinos. So I think this is a really good time for all the Latin, all our community to start getting to work and start really working on our crafts, because I mean, maybe not right now because we're in quarantine, but I think it's a good time for us. And I mean, that's also one of the reasons that I'm here for.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, I mean, other times I know maybe people might have struggled, you know, due to the fact, but not too long ago, Alfonso Cuarón, like, you know, they won a lot of Oscars, like for, what's the movie called? I forgot.
Leonardo DiCaprio.
Roma.
Oh yeah, Roma.
Yeah. It's and a lot of people were like in Mexico were so like emotional and so excited, you know, that like a Mexican director won an Oscar. You know, it's like it's a huge thing. And yeah, he also won for The Revenant. For The Revenant, with Leonardo DiCaprio. Yeah, so this is like one of the things that I'm like, okay, that's when you know, like, there's a sign that, you know, that this is an opportunity for us. Yeah,
I think there's also like a bigger consciousness going on with people in the arts, where we're realizing that there's more substance in the underground scene or foreign scene, if you will. And even if people have to watch subtitles, they're, you know, getting more into the art and enjoying it.
Yeah, even
more.
in music, a lot of people are kind of seeing, doing collaborations with like the Spanish-speaking community, like reggaeton and stuff like that.
Yep.
So I think people are, you know, it's kind of, I don't want to say a trend, but I think people are kind of influenced all over the United States by our our communities,
our culture,
our culture, their influence in some way, and I think it's coming out to the light now.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions that you have?
I have tons of questions, but I
don't this is the time.
I'm down.
Yeah, you know, well, who else is coming? Is someone coming soon?
I think we have
no?
255, but I think he's coming in in like 10 minutes or so.
Oh, okay,
so
cool. So we could
go for it.
We could rap a little bit more.
Yeah, I know. He said like,
all we have is time right now. So I mean, we're quarantined, right?
I know it's not like I have a busy schedule right now.
Likewise,
I used a little bit of like Southern Cali slang when I texted her for a DM to tell her time slot.
Yeah.
Like,
he was
like around up. She's like, "What rap?"
But he said rap with an R, and I was like, "Wait a minute, I have to rap? Like, I don't know how to rap." It's like, okay, I'm down for anything, but I don't know if I could rap.
All right, you ready?
Okay. Yo, what's up?
I got a question for you.
Yeah.
Okay, you said that you've lived in Texas. You've lived in Texas, Miami, Chicago. You know, those are cities that I'm, very familiar with.
Yeah, a lot of Latinos, a lot of Mexicans.
Which is your favorite city?
I mean, LA is cool, like for the opportunity and for the work and all that stuff. But like, say if I want to like hang out, I love Mexico City. Like Mexico City is so much fun, or at least when I was there, I had like so much fun. Like I went to like so many parties. Back then I used to drink and stuff, so maybe that's why I enjoyed my time, because I was like,
it's definitely
in
a
this
different
party
city
and
now,
that
right?
party and that, like, oh my god, like I went to some of the most insane parties. Like there was the Formula One. I don't know if you ever heard like
the race car driving.
Yeah. So like Mexico City hosts the whole event, you know. So they wanted like a bunch of models to like hang out like at the official after parties and stuff, and so I got paid to party with like the creme of people like coming from all over the world. There was like all these drivers there, and I literally had to just have fun. I was this is the perfect job, like I don't know. So I mean, I enjoyed my time over there. Like I don't know, it was fun. And I was able to work at Televisa and like meet like all sorts of people, So I recommend Mexico City, and the food is really good. Like you'll eat so cheap, like on any corner, like 20 pesos, and you'll eat like couple quesadillas. Chapultepec, of course, yeah. The huaraches are good. They have like the, what's it called, las quesadillas, which is really funny because you have to ask. You have to ask queso with your quesadillas, and up in north, when you think quesadillas, it's like a tortilla with cheese, right? But down over there, it's just like a taco.
I have family out there in the FA. The first time I went out to the FA, I think I was like 12, 13, and my cousins, they hazed me. And they left me on the side of the road over there.
No way. That's not cool.
Yeah, but that's typical. That's typical family out there. So
I know. Trust me, my sister left me once. They left you on the pulque?
Yeah.
Oh shit! I do not recommend that. I tried that once, and fuck, like that was like the worst time that I've been drunk in my whole life. Like I don't think I could like ever drink that shit again. It's just so strong.
Nowadays, do you prefer any type of like wine or anything, or you don't drink at all?
Well, I actually quit drinking. Like maybe I'll drink in like in special occasions or something, but it's been a while since I drank. I worked a lot in clubs, so a lot of people like kind of wonder like, why am I such a party pooper now? But it's because one, I mean, I'm getting a little bit older. I'm in my mid-30s. And then also I worked in clubs a lot. So like for me, I'm like kind of partied out, like I had so much fun in my life, and I'm so grateful for all of those experiences. And I could just remember and laugh, like of all the funny shit and crazy shit that I did. But now I'm just like, I just want to chill and be at home or be productive, like do things like create. Like now for me, it's a time to be creative, like this is what I'm here for, and this is like my passion. So right now, I'm all about being creative and like working and hustling. Like that's me right now. I'm in that phase, I guess. Maybe later, I'll go back to Crazy Nadia or whatever.
You're saying something about time. This time is about being creative, and you working at clubs. Me myself, I've been, you know, in the nightlife, say like the past like 5 years, I've been engulfed in the nightlife, and since I was 11 years old, I've just been all about music, and I found that something was missing.
Yeah.
And since this quarantine started, uh, I've I feel like I've gotten back to my creative
You
side.
got in touch with yourself, with your creative
Exactly.
side. Yeah.
You
And
know,
I think it's a cool thing in some way, like to be experiencing this situation, because a lot of, for if you think about it, a lot of geniuses and a lot of creative people who became very famous or are, you know, in history, started in a similar situation where they were isolated, they're alone, like kind of forced to be with themselves, and this is the perfect time to start you know, work using your creative side, and you never know, like maybe magic is going to happen. This is the perfect time to do it.
this is the time to make magic happen.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know, we're all given God's gifts, and if we're not, you know, there's a line in the Bronx Tale. One of the worst, what I believe, what is it? One of the worst things in life is wasted talent.
Wasted talent.
Exactly.
You know, so.
And that's
yeah.
something that I had been feeling before. Like, I understand what you're saying, like in nightlife, you know, okay, the parties are fun. Okay, you meet like all sorts of people. The money's good and everything. But there's always going to be something that you feel that you're lacking. And there's not going to be not an amount of money. They can give you thousands of dollars. You can meet the person, the love of your life, but you're still not going to feel complete unless if you're doing what you love and your passion.
Exactly.
And I was there, and I was like, that's it. Like, there's no how you say, no me queda la menor duda. Like, there's no doubt that this is what I need to do, or else I'm not going to be happy.
Yeah, money comes and money goes. And if,
yeah, it's fuck money. Like, money, exactly, comes and goes. It's not real, and it doesn't define who you are as a person either.
Exactly.
That's right.
You know, that's one thing that I've found. You know, I've come to find, just like how you were saying. You know, if you know, all money isn't good money. You know, so if it's one thing that I've learned, I can be up 3 days straight if I'm working on something that I'm passionate about.
Exactly.
But if I'm working on something that that's making me miserable, I find that
and you'll see it in nightlife. I don't know if you notice. I pay attention to like people's faces sometimes. Like, like the misery and the people. Like, if you see like bottle girls, they'll be like, like so miserable behind the bar. Like, the life, you get the life sucked out of you. You know. And I was like, you know what? Like, I don't want to live that life. Like, I don't care about the money. Like, that's it. I'd rather be like a struggling actress, if you want to call it that, you know, like, than being all miserable and alone. Because in the end, you're just alone, and the money comes and goes, and
there's a monotony about it that makes you feel just down, like being in the same party scene, because it's all the same. You figure it out at one point.
It's always gonna be there anyway, you know. You can go 10 years later, like the same people are gonna be there.
And it feels a lot better when you accomplish something and you're celebrating, and you're like, all right, I've worked this hard and now I get to relax a little bit.
Yeah, you feel more productive. You feel here like that you have a purpose. Like, it's important to do what you like and your purpose.
That's one of the things that I like about you, honestly, is because you have this spiritual side of you that you're sharing with people.
Thanks.
And
I hope I'm not overwhelming. I post like so many like freaking things and memes like all over the place.
So what? You know what? People
But I've seen some of your work too, like as an artist, like your drawings and stuff. They're really good, and you're a great actor as well. I don't know if anybody's told you that.
Not really, but thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I mean, I got to work with you, so I know like that you're a good actor.
Thanks, I appreciate that. But as far as you shedding your own light on everybody, it's really refreshing. And if they follow you or they don't, who cares? You're doing what you love.
Yeah, I don't post stuff because to gain the following. I post like what I feel and like what I like. You know, maybe some people follow me because they want to see like sexy pictures. I don't give a fuck what you're following me for. Like, I'm gonna share what I feel at the moment. It could be a spiritual, it could be a creative. Like, I love modeling, but not necessarily I'm gonna model and post something that's gonna get me the following. Like, you know, I think it's about doing what you love, and then people will follow.
Yeah, because you can't hide beauty like yours. Come on, it's like impossible. It's just put it out there. It's all good.
I'm just kidding. What cover girl?
That is right there.
Vogue.
Oh man. Okay, so if Gargamel doesn't have any more questions, I would hold you here all night.
I could have questions all night as well.
Yeah, wait, I have a question for you.
Go ahead.
Why DJ Gargamel?
Okay, like I was saying earlier, I've been DJing since I was a kid, since 11 years old, right? And you know, you're like one of my mentor, he's Aladdin. So you're given a name, like where I grew up at, and you kind of have to make something of that name, you know, or else you're considered like where we come from, like in the streets, like as a toy. You know, you can't just like go in and just like
pretend. Not
even pretend, but you can't just go flip flopping. You have to make It's kind of like what you're saying about being out here in LA. Like, you got to make something of it. You have to make people
exactly. There's a way to get there. You know, you can't just all of a sudden be like this person
like,
and like come from
here,
nothing.
And you're gonna respect it. You understand what I'm saying? So you're gonna respect it. Since I was 11, that's what it is. And hey, I'm here. It ain't gonna be nothing else, and that's what it is.
I respect that. I respect that.
So people.
And are you Mexican or are you Latino? Yeah, Viva Mexico! Woo!
Who gave you the name though? Like you didn't get to that part. Why Gargamel?
So there was a cartoon, the Smurfs.
Because the guys from the Smurfs, That's all I was gonna say. Like, why the bad guy from the Smurfs?
So like you know, when we're coming up in DJing, it was like battling and stuff like that, and you want to be like the bad guy. You know, so back then, like, so you wanted to like
the nemesis,
intimidate people.
Yeah.
Take a good look. You're never gonna see a bad guy.
So I mean, now that I'm older, people still ask me, but that don't know me. But everybody who I came with you know, from Watts and like Compton and Southgate, Norwalk, all those people, like they all know, like, oh, that's the legend. But you know, yeah, I mean,
because it was so funny that that you invited me and you said, oh, with my friend DJ Gargamel, because I was talking to my sister the other day and we were remembering about the cartoons of the Smurfs. So I was like, it's so funny, like, and that was last week, you know, like, and all of a sudden, like, I haven't heard that word from anybody like in a long time, so it was funny.
People either know me like, oh, do you know Thomas, or you know Gargamel? Like they'll be like, oh no, that's people that like actually know me from like growing up. They'll be like, oh no, we know Thomas, you know. So
well, we've known each other since I was like 13, so he's a good friend of mine.
Oh, nice.
I'm older than him, you know. So
yeah, if you really make him laugh hard, it sounds like Gargamel's laugh. That's what's
no way.
I swear to God.
Yeah. So I was a senior and he was a freshman, and like so I went back to his school. I went back to school and I took a girl to prom during his prom. How was it? Like,
yeah. That was like
you're bringing all these people like typical Mexicans.
Yeah, exactly.
La abuela, la tía, la prima,
so
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad to meet other fellow Mexicans who are in the industry, and you know, it's cool to support each other.
You said something very important right there. Support each other, because you know, one thing that I've learned out here in Los Angeles, you know, we're all independent. You know, none of us have corporate money, and with that said, you know, we all have to support each other. Because that's the only way that we're going to be able to go up against the corporations is by supporting each other, especially being Latin.
And our people too, you know, like that maybe a lot of people have different concept, or they think differently about us, or they have some sort of stereotype. But I think it's important, just because of that, to stick together more, because we want to get rid of all those stereotypes and really show them that like we can do the same job equally or even better.
That's right. Yes, and we represent our people. That's right.
Mexico,
like,
yeah.
I want to even add to something like kind of like on you know, to what you're saying. I think it's even more important to, like, for Hispanics in the industries that you're in and even that I'm in, that there might be times when, say, you and I, or Emiliano and myself, might not, you know, see eye to eye. But that it's even more important for us to stick together during those times, because those are the times that people want to see us break down, you know, for our culture.
Yeah, through the thick and thin.
Exactly. For what we've been building, and for what those that came before us have blueprinted for us.
And I think we're doing a progress. We're evolutionizing, and I think these kind of circumstances are either you can see them as a problem or you can see it as an opportunity. And to me, it's an opportunity to, how you say, team up, grow together, learn. You know, so I think our community has been growing, and we've been learning how to tackle it in a different way. And we all realize that being separate is not working. So even as women, sometimes I'm like, man, like I wish women would be also more, you know, like more united. And sometimes, you know, like between women, especially like modeling and stuff like that, like there can be a lot of separation. But I think all these situations are kind of like giving us more knowledge to think differently and maybe to approach things in a different way.
Yeah. I was just sharing with my dad. We were having a discussion about what's happening right now, and after this, I believe there's going to be a big like a burst of light from artists, you know, and a shift consciously from just in a human being perspective, as far as everybody being more thankful for what they're doing every day and being more, you know.
It's like how they said, like in the Black Plague, you know, what happened after was the Renaissance. So this is like, it could be a potential second Renaissance.
True.
So I think it's a good time also to be in the arts as well. You just gotta hustle it.
I know.
You gotta hustle
hard. Ain't nothing gonna be given to you. Nothing's never gonna be given to you.
Hard, yeah.
These streets don't give; they take.
Exactly.
I have another question for you.
Yeah.
You know, with you making the move out to LA, and you know, pursuing your dreams, who are 3 artists or actors that you would like to work with?
Well, one of them is obviously Joaquin Phoenix. I really like his style. Another one, I don't know, maybe one of my all-time favorites has been Al Pacino, but I don't think he works anymore. But it would be even awesome just to be able to meet him and to talk to him. And maybe as a director, I love Quentin Tarantino. He's one of my favorite. So that would be cool to like either work with one of them. And I love Marvel too. So if there's an opportunity in even like as supporting actress, I'll be like super happy and I'll die happily.
You would make a dope Mexicana superhero.
I know, they need to put like a superhero like out there, and that's Mexican.
Hell yeah. I was digging how they did Logan and the whole history with that, like the girl coming from Mexico. The movie Logan, did you see it?
Logan?
Yeah, it's about the origins of Wolverine.
It's been out for a while, right?
Yeah.
I haven't seen it. It's been a long time since I've seen it.
You're missing out. You gotta see it if you haven't.
I think I've seen it, but it's been like a long time. Yeah, I have like a short memory span.
I got it. It's all good.
But I'm gonna watch it now. Now I'm inspired to watch it again.
Is there anything good that you've seen recently that maybe people might not know about? Any indie films or anything that you've picked up on?
Well, let's see. I was looking at some martial arts movies the other day, because you know I'm like all about the martial arts. So I was like, now that I have time, let me see what's in Netflix. And I saw this one that I had never seen before, called American Assassin. And wow, have you seen it?
No, but I know which one
Dude,
you're
well, if
talking
you
about.
like, like fighting stuff and fighting scenes, like see it. At the beginning, it looked like, another Netflix movie, right?
Right.
And then I kind of stuck to it, and then like towards the middle and the end, oh my God, like it was the fighting scenes were like really good. It's like a Mission Impossible sort of, but it's an American dude. It's not
Oh,
like a
got it.
British guy or whatever, So it's like a real American guy that you would see from somewhere, and his martial arts abilities are like really, really cool. So I recommend that one, and it's on Netflix.
Nice. Have you ever seen? It's called Ong Bak. It's a Thai martial arts movie with a martial artist named Tony Jaa. It's spelled
No.
Ongbak.
On Bak.
Ong Bak. You
I
gotta check it
haven't
out.
seen it. Oh, look, is it on Netflix?
I believe it is now. Yeah. Jackie
I gotta
Chan,
check it out.
Jackie Chan helped to kind of like
Do
choreography and stuff. But I
Nice.
think you'll like it. It's in subtitles, but it's beautiful. It's
It's
great
good.
movie.
I like to watch some like Chinese movies, like the Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. I think that's maybe one of my favorites in martial arts.
Dope. That's dope.
Yep.
It was fun talking to you. And
Well,
do we have
thank you.
our other guests coming on soon or not?
Yeah, I mean, I think we have. What's up, Drew? We have LA legend OG Drew pushing the envelope right now. Let's see if can we get OG Drew on. Let me see.
Well, thank you guys for inviting
Nadia.
me in case if it cuts
Let's,
out.
say bye to Nadia.
Bye, Nadia. Let's see if we
Love
can
you
have
guys.
her
Take
on.
care. See you soon.
Likewise, Nadia.
Take
Much
care.
Bye.
success to you.
Soon.
Okay, bye-bye. Peace.
Bye.
Let's see who else we could get on.